I've conducted thousands of interviews. Today, I can't remember which side of the desk I belong on. I've conducted hundreds of interviews, maybe thousands. The rhythm is second nature now. From handshake, confident smile, the slight lean forward that says, I'm in control here. Today feels different somehow, but I can't put my finger on why. Corner office, mahogany desk, leather chair that squeaks just right when I settle in. Power, position, everything exactly as it should be. The first candidate enters. Sarah something? Morrison, maybe. Mid-20s, nervous energy, clutching a folder like it's a lifeline. Perfect. I prefer them a little desperate. Makes the process smoother, more predictable. Please, have a seat, I say, gesturing to the chair across from me. She perches on the edge, back rigid. Good posture, at least. Tell me about yourself. She clears her throat, meets my eyes. Well, I know you've been struggling since the divorce. Those late nights at the office, eating takeout alone while your ex-wife starts fresh with that yoga instructor. That must be incredibly difficult. I blink hard. Excuse me? My background, she continues smoothly, as if she never said anything else. 5 years in marketing, proficiency in Adobe Creative Suite, and genuine passion for brand storytelling. Did I mishear her? My collar feels suddenly tight. Too much coffee this morning, probably. Not enough. Sleep again. The standard questions feel heavier on my tongue than usual. What would you say are your greatest strengths? Your insomnia, she replies without hesitation. The way you lie awake counting ceiling tiles, wondering if anyone would notice if you simply disappeared. Those pills you counted last Tuesday night, 17 left in the bottle. You wondered if that would be enough. More nine. My pen hovers motionless above the notepad. The words blur together like ink in water. I'm sorry. What did you just say? She tilts her head, genuinely confused. I said attention to detail and independent work capability. Are you feeling all right? You look pale. The air conditioning hums louder than it should. My hands tremble slightly as I set down my pen. Focus. This is just stress. Too many late nights, too much caffeine. Oh, why do you want this position? The question comes out distant, like I'm hearing myself speak from across the room. Because you need someone who understands, she says, leaning forward with sudden intensity. Someone who knows what it's like to rehearse conversations in the bathroom mirror, but still stumble over simple words when they matter most. Someone who gets the drowning feeling. Now, why? I stand abruptly, chair rolling backward. I think there's been some confusion about the nature of this. About the salary range, she interrupts brightly. I'm flexible. Budget constraints are understandable, especially with the downsizing next month. Well, downsizing. We haven't announced anything. We haven't even discussed, have we? The thought slips away like smoke. This interview is concluded, I manage. We'll be in touch. Her smile is too knowing, too familiar. I hope so. You seem like someone who could really use a friend. After she leaves, I stare at my notepad. The page is blank except for her name at the top. But underneath, in handwriting I don't remember making, someone has scrawled. She knows. They all know. I tear off the page and crumple it. Just nerves. The next interview will be normal. When I return from the restroom, the next candidate is already seated. I don't remember calling him in. Marcus Chen, according to his nameplate. Yes, when do we use nameplates? Oh. So, he says before I can speak, tell me about your experience with failure. I laugh, but it comes out hollow, wrong. I think you misunderstand the dynamic here. I'm conducting this interview. Well, amen. Are you? He opens a leather portfolio. Me leather portfolio, I realize with growing unease. According to this, you've been unemployed for 8 months. That's quite a significant gap. How do you explain that to potential employers? I'm not unemployed, I say automatically, then pause. And why am I answering? This is my office. I work here. do I? Well, the question surfaces unbidden, unwelcome. Of course I work here. I've been here for... The time frame slips away like water through my fingers. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Marcus continues, pen poised over what unmistakably looks like my resume. When did he get my resume? Well, nowhere. I see myself. The words spill out before I can stop them. Finally finding something that matters. Something that proves I'm not just occupying space. That the world wouldn't be identical if I vanished tomorrow. Why did I say that? Why tell fear Enter the harness YT. Marcus nods thoughtfully, making notes. Interesting. And your biggest weakness? The absolute certainty that I'm fooling everyone, I hear myself saying. That any moment, they'll realize I don't belong here, that I never belonged anywhere, that I'm just empty space shaped like a person. I clap my hand over my mouth, but it's too late. These aren't professional responses. These are my 3 a.m. thoughts, the ones I whisper to bathroom mirrors when the insomnia gets unbearable. Excellent honesty, Marcus says. That's refreshing in these situations. I stare at my hands. When did I clasp them in my lap like this? Like a supplicant. Like someone begging. The door opens without a knock. Another person enters. Janet? Jennifer? The name slides away like ice. She sits beside Marcus, pulls out her own copy of my resume. Definitely mine. I can see my name, my address, my desperate attempts to fill white space with anything remotely impressive. Let's discuss your employment history, she says. You were terminated from Morrison Associates. Care to elaborate? Morrison.Kai. Sarah Morrison from this morning. Or was it yesterday? Time keeps slipping sideways. I wasn't terminated. I protest weakly. I chose to leave. It was my decision. Well, after the Henderson account collapsed due to your oversight, Marcus adds, consulting his notes. 60,000 in losses. Entirely your responsibility. That's not, but it was. God help me. It was exactly my fault. I'd hoped everyone had forgotten, that the shame had faded into background noise. But here it is, dissected on the table like a laboratory specimen. Why should we hire you? Jennifer asks. What makes you worth the risk? I open my mouth, but nothing emerges. The question hangs in the air like smoke, and I realize with creeping horror that I don't have an answer. I've never had an answer. When I look up, they're both watching me with expressions I can't decipher. Pity? Contempt? Professional curiosity? I start, then stop. My throat feels like sandpaper. I honestly don't know. The room tilts. Or I tilt. Something fundamental shifts, and suddenly I'm seeing everything from the wrong perspective. The mahogany desk stretches between me and when did I move to this chair? Wow. I'm sitting where candidates sit. Where desperate people sit. The leather squeaks differently from this side. Plaintive, apologetic. My hands rest on my knees like a child called to account. This isn't right, I whisper. But my voice sounds small, swallowed by an office that suddenly feels cavernous, theatrical, like a stage where I've forgotten all my lines. Across from me, behind what I thought was my desk, sits a woman in a crisp navy suit. Professional, authoritative. Everything I believed I was moments ago, or months ago. Time is liquid now, pooling in wrong places. Thank you for coming in today, she says, and her voice carries the confident timbre I remember having. When did I lose it? I know these interviews can be overwhelming. Interviews. Plural. Sean. The word ricochets inside my skull. How many interviews? How many rooms exactly like this one? How many desperate handshakes? How many rehearsed answers that never quite land correctly? She opens a thick folder. My folder. I can see my resume on top, but it's different now. Annotated in red ink like a teacher's corrections on a failing exam. When employed 8 months. Written in harsh red letters. References, unavailable, underlined twice. High desperation level, Extreme scrawled at the bottom in handwriting I recognize as my own. Let's start with something simple, she says. And I know what's coming because I've heard it before. Today. Yesterday. Every day for months. Tell me about yourself. 3 questions I thought I was asking. And Kai was never asking them. Or Kai was answering them. 1. On the time. Die. Single. Down out. Time. 101. Nobatat. The memories crash over me like a dam bursting. The unemployment office with its fluorescent despair. Government assistance forms. Disconnect notices piling up like autumn leaves. Phone calls from mom asking if I'd found anything yet. The careful way she says anything yet, like I'm searching for loose change instead of clawing at the last threads of my dignity. Sarah Morrison. She was the interviewer. They were all interviewers. Marcus, Jennifer, all of them. I have always been the one begging for scraps, pleading for someone to validate my existence with a paycheck. The word lodges in my throat like a bone. I thought I was conducting the interviews. She doesn't look surprised. They never look surprised when candidates break down. It's probably in her training manual. Chapter 7, Managing Delusional Job Seekers. That's a fascinating coping mechanism, she says, making a note. Role reversal as defense against rejection trauma. I've encountered it before. Encountered it before. Shamid. How many others like me? How many people so shattered by endless rejection that they retreat into fantasy? That they imagine themselves wielding power instead of begging for it? The position has been filled, she continues gently, closing my folder. But we'll keep your resume on file. On file. In the circular file. In the trash with all the others. I nod because that's what you do. You nod and say thank you, and pretend this didn't break something inside you that was already fractured beyond repair. You pretend you still have dignity left to lose. The door opens. Another room. Another desk. Another leather chair that squeaks in that particular way that means you don't belong here, but we'll pretend you might for exactly 20 minutes. Or am I behind the desk again? I blink hard, trying to focus. The fluorescent light buzzes overhead like an angry insect trapped in amber. My hands are... Where are my hands? Folded in my lap. Gripping a pen. Both. Neither. Please, have a seat. The words emerge from my mouth, but I didn't choose to say them. They taste familiar, rehearsed, like dialogue from a play I've performed countless times without ever learning the script. Across from me, beside me, a man in an ill-fitting suit adjusts his tie with nervous fingers. His resume sits between us on the desk, coffee-stained and desperate, just like mine was. Will be again. Tell me about yourself, someone says. Was that me? Was that him? The question hovers in the air like smoke, and I realize with creeping certainty that it doesn't matter who asked. We're all asking the same question, endlessly, and none of us know how to answer it truthfully. Well, am I? The man begins speaking about qualifications, experience, passion for synergistic solutions and paradigm shifts. The exact words I've used. The same desperate energy crackling beneath professional veneer like electricity through water. I want to warn him that it doesn't matter, that they've already decided, that we're just performing theater, playing roles in a script where everyone knows the ending. But maybe that's not true. Maybe this time is different. Maybe this time, I'm the one with power to say yes. Can I? Want to? I look down at my hands again. They're holding a pen, poised over a legal pad. The page is blank except for his name at the top, and my own handwriting underneath. Seems familiar. Like looking in a mirror. No. When did I write that? Why should we hire you? The question emerges from somewhere. My mouth, his mouth, the walls themselves. It echoes with the weight of every rejection, every polite smile that means no, every door that closes before you're through it. He stammers through an answer about team dynamics and core competencies, and I feel simultaneous pity and recognition. I've given this exact answer. I will give it again. Kare we the same person? Have we always been the same person? Or to The interview continues, but roles blur like watercolors in rain. Am I asking or answering? Hunter or prey? The words flow across the desk, but they might as well be echoing in an empty room. Somewhere, a phone rings. Somewhere, another interview begins. Somewhere, someone else sits in a squeaking leather chair, wondering if today will be the day they finally matter to someone. The man finishes speaking and looks at me expectantly, or I finish speaking and look at him expectantly. The silence stretches between us like a chasm. We'll be in touch, we say in perfect unison. The door opens again. Another candidate enters. Another version of myself. Another chance to ask or answer the same unanswerable questions. The cycle begins again, and I no longer remember which side of the desk I belong on.